it was part of the overall migration up. Now, my father was in the Army in World War I. He didn't see any action, but I guess sometime after getting out of the Army, which would have probably been 1918 or so, then he sought to leave the South for a better life, better employment opportunities, and he came here. So that's all we can say. Well, as when you hired on, they told you it was hot, heavy, dirty, but the pay was good, and all of those things were true. I mean, working in a foundry where they're pouring molten iron into molds. And so, you've got these blast furnaces all up and down because you've got all of these production lines making these parts, everything from motor blocks to crankshafts to, as I said, I was doing water pumps. My father was doing camshafts. All of these things that required molding, which meant you poured molten steel into these molds. So it's hot and it's heavy. So that's what you did. Well, our class, I originally started uh, in '53, and they admitted 5 African Americans to that freshman class. That was the largest number in the history of the school, which started in 1868. Um, and I had to drop out a year because of illness, and but that, well, my experiences at Tabernacle were most of my life. Uh, my mother and my father had originally been members of Second Baptist when they were on the east side. They moved to the west side and took their membership to Tabernacle. And that's where they always were, and that's where we always were. My mother was one of the founders of the Deaconess Board at Tabernacle. As a matter of fact, at 101 2/3, she still is the emeritus president. My father was a deacon there until he died. My sisters still are active members and sing in the choirs. I don't know how many they sing in, but they're still there. So that's been my experience with Tabernacle. That was just it from the time I can remember. Well, I remember vaguely that the riots started, and of course there were all kind of rumors because there was no television or anything of this sort, and people talking about what had happened and what was going on and what happened on Belle Isle and so forth and so on. But other than that, it was some remote kind of occurrence that never really bothered anybody, so to speak, as far as we were concerned.